Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, Books, Scripts, and Purrs. My name's Leslie, and today I'm going to do a book tag, which is Counting the Days book tag TBR list. Thank you so much to Emily from the Linguist Library for tagging me. Tags are an absolute joy. Also enjoy them because they're kind of more chill, laid back, easy peasy, and it's just a great way to talk about more books. So thank you so much. Also, the two people that originated this tag, I'm going to have their details below in the what do you call it, in the details section, in case you're interested in following them. I hadn't followed them, hadn't heard of their channel, so also thank you, Emily, again for telling me about their channel. All right, let's get started. So the first prompt is talk about, oh yeah, excited to read because of its cover. A book I'm excited to read because of its cover. All right, this is my current summer TBR. I'm in the middle of reading this, and that is Womb City. It's a genre-bending book. It's Afrofuturism. It's sci-fi. It's horror. It's a lot of things. There's definitely a conversation about feminism, class issues, who gets to tell our histories, and why. There's a lot going on in here. But also, I just fell in love with the cover when I found out about the book. And that's honestly the main reason that I got it. Like, look at this. Look how wildly talented this person is. Also, the illustrator has a Instagram, and I'll include them in the details too. But yeah, even Marissa Crane, who wrote "I Keep My Exoskeleton to Myself," wrote a positive blurb about this, and I really liked their book Exoskeleton. That really stole my heart last year. So that's just another reason to read this book. But yeah, wildly talented illustrator. All right, so the second prompt is a book that excites me to read because of its author. And you know what? No surprise. It's Hanifa Diraqib. There's Always This Year on Basketball and Ascension. This is part of my summer TBR, so I will be reading this actually very soon. By mid-August, I should be reading this. And so I'm excited. This will be the last of my summer reads. And I'm genuinely excited because I love everything that this author writes. I have every poetry collection. I have his essay collections as well. He won an award for Little Devil in America, which is an incredible piece of work talking about, and I think it says something like in praise of Black performance. And so it's just like to highlight people that have made an impact in performance, whether it's in America or around the world. And so I love this author so much because he writes in such a nostalgic way that really it just pierces my soul. So yeah, you'll know I'll be reading this and anything else the author writes. All right, the next prompt is a book I'm excited to read because of its premise. Now, the first two were summer reads. This is going to be after my summer reads. This is going to be my next TBR pile that I'm grabbing from. And that would be from my small bookshelf project. This year, I want to tackle reading books that are only on my small bookshelves. And so one of them is I Know What's Best for You, edited by Shelley Oria. So this is a collection with a bunch of different authors contributing. One of them is Tommy Orange, which is actually one of the main reasons why I grabbed this book. And on the back, I'm just going to read it to you. This explosive intersectional collection of essays, fiction, poem, plays, and more explores the universality of human reproductive experience as well as their distinct individuality. An enlisted sailor must choose between her military career or keeping an unexpected pregnancy. A mother of three decides to become a surrogate but is unprepared for everything that happens next. A trans man's pregnancy forces them to approach their key relationships in a new way. A woman's choice to live a child-free life is put to the test when her husband's dying wish is for them to become parents. So this is going to be, this is definitely going to be a heavy read. And yeah, I just think that this subject matter is so important, and the premise got me, so I'm gonna be all over it. All right, so the next prompt is a book to read because of its style. Did I grab one? I think it's this one. I'm trying to remember. I have so much stuff here. Hold on. Style. I have everything set up for me. And then influence, emotional weight. Oh yeah, it is this one. Okay, sorry. um, The Tunnel by William H. Glass. This has been on my bookshelf. Look at it. This is a big one. And every time I read a big book, I just become this emotional wreck. It's my own fault. And I think it's just, I get so caught up in thinking about the volume of it, which makes no sense because I read books all the time and they're going to add up to the same amount of pages, right? But alas, that's how I am. So let's talk about this book. It says 30 years in the making. William H. Gass' second novel first appeared on the literary scene in 1995, at which time it was promptly hailed as an indisputable masterpiece. It is the story of a middle aged professor who, upon completion of his massive historical study, Guilt and Innocence in Hitler's Germany, sets out to write an introduction. Unable to do so, he finds himself writing about his own life instead, an intensely personal, even private book that runs counter to the rigidity of his historical work. Isolated, he begins digging a tunnel out of the basement where he writes. And so, although that's the premise, stylistically, just thinking about how they're going to toggle the dry data of a horrific time in history against like the very deeply personal um, existence of this character is, I know it's, I feel like, I don't know. I don't want to put too much pressure on this book, but I think um this might be considered a masterpiece. But you know what? Yeah, even the way the text is laid out is very interesting. But so stylistically, I'll be reading The Tunnel this year. Wish me luck because I'm gonna need all all your moral support when I hit this book. Okay. All right. So the next prompt is a book I'm excited to read because of its influence, and that would be Wandering Stars by Tommy Orange. So this will be the second uh, literary work that involves Tommy Orange and everything, right? I'm going to read a short story. This is also part of my small bookshelf project. That'll be the second one I'm hitting. And I haven't read this yet, but when I do, I also will be reading There again, just to refresh my memory, because this is a prequel and a little bit after prequel and sequel to There. And so I'm going to need to refresh my memory. But this is an author that has had just a large influence and really caught the attention of present day readers. And so, yeah, just anything that they write, I will be reading. All right. The next one is a book I'm excited to read because of its emotional weight. And that is the second Race and Guns in Fatally Unequal America by Carol Anderson. This is one of those books, like so many others. As soon as I grab it, I want to read it. But I know I can't read it right away. So I really look forward to reading this. I'm trying to remember who told me about this. I heard about this on a podcast, the Stacks podcast. It also did an author interview, I believe. And it's just one of those things that I know is going to have a lot of emotional weight. It's going to impact me and really have to tap into what's going on right where I'm at. And so, yeah, I look forward to reading that. All right. The next prompt is a book I'm excited to read because of its sense of humor. So I picked up The Golem of Brooklyn, a novel by Adam Mansbach. Mansbach. I read the back of it and it just sounded funny, and so I picked it up, which is pretty rare. You know what's so fun? Is that I tend to gravitate towards books that are so not funny and cover a nonfiction topic that's really deeply painful. And I wish I wasn't like that sometimes. I wish I would just be attracted to the funny. So this is me trying to read something funny. And so it says, oh, also W. Kamau Bell gave this a glowing review, and I read their memoir, and they do a lot of great work, documentary style, and they've also written their own memoir that's really good. So if he likes this, I'm going to read it. And so on the inside, it says, in Ashkenazi Jewish folklore, a golem is a humanoid being created out of mud or clay and animated through secret prayers. Its sole purpose is to defend the Jewish people against the immediate threat of violence. It is always a rabbi who makes a golem, and always in a time of crisis. But Len Bronstein is no rabbi. He's a Brooklyn art teacher who steals a large quantity of clay from his school, gets extremely stoned, and manages to bring his creation to life despite knowing little about Judaism and even less about golems. Unable to communicate with his 9'6", 400-pound Yiddish speaking guest, Len enlists a bodega clerk and ex Hasid named Miri of Philibum to translate. Eventually, the golem learns English to binge watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. Sorry, I can't even say it. Curb Your Enthusiasm after ingesting a massive amount of LSD, and reveals that he is a creature with an ancestral memory. He recalls every previous iteration of himself, making the golem a repository of Jewish history and trauma. And it kind of goes on from there. So I this sounds just wildly entertaining while tackling some tough subjects. And oddly enough, I have not seen Curb Your Enthusiasm. And my local coffee shop, uh, Damn Good Coffee, uh, has actually been in an episode. So Curb Your Enthusiasm has has shot right at my local coffee shop, and I still haven't seen the show. So that's pretty funny. So yeah, a piece of humor, please. And the last but not least, reading a book that is a challenge. All right, here we go. I'm still one book away of being done with my first small bookshelf, which was it was here, but as I read the books, I like moved them somewhere else. Lies, my teacher told me everything your American history textbook got wrong. I've been wanting to read this for so long, but right before I picked this up, I had just been reading a lot of nonfiction, and I was having a difficult time getting through them, or I got through those books, but they were just so mentally draining that I needed a break. So instead of jumping to this, I put this on hold. I've been reading romances and reading my summer reads. So by the time I'm done with my summer reads, I should finally get to this book, and I will finally finish my first TBR project that I started at the beginning of the year, um, before I go on to my next small bookshelf. I thought I could just maybe listen to this on audio or dual listen to this, but I just decided to just wait. Basically, this is just talking about how in the United States, our textbooks are wildly outdated and inaccurate, and why is that not happening? How this affects the people that are learning and the people that are teaching with these textbooks. So, yeah, at some point, I'm going to tackle this. This is going to happen. This is a must, a must. So that's definitely a challenge, just in terms of the material, but also it's part of my TBR that I haven't read yet. So that's it for all the prompts. That was actually really fun. It's nice to kind of look forward at what I'm going to be tackling, and I also feel like it just seems less daunting now. So thank you again, Emily, for reaching out and letting me know about this tag, because I was not not aware. And ultimately, it just feels nice to have a little bit of bookish fun every once in a while. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for following me. I really appreciate your support. I genuinely could not do any of this without you. You get me through my day, my meat and potatoes job. It just was nice to have something that's just for us together to commune, and it's just really beautiful. Also, please like this, subscribe if you're new here, and I guess I'll just see you in the chat.